Now, for the breakout rooms, I'm going to do my best to explain it because I can't show it to you. So when you log in to the Zoom room, at the bottom, there's a gray button that says participants and chat, a green button that says share screen. There will be a button that says record. And then I think there's a smiley face that says reactions. Now, when Kathy or Peter, depending on level 1 or level 2, sets up the breakout room. So breakout rooms, think about those like the small little conference rooms that we do small group in, right? So you have your big room that fits 20 people, 30 people, 40 people. And then we go to those really small rooms that can fit 10 or 15, right? And we put our chairs in a circle, and that is our small group room. Since we're not in a conference room, we're not in a hotel, we are doing breakout rooms. So breakout rooms are just going to a separate room, electronic room, that is still housed in the big global Zoom room that you're in, okay? So you go in the same front door, the link that you use to get into level 1 or level 2, and then Peter or Kathy are gonna open up these side doors, and they're gonna assign you to where you're going. And the way to get into those is one of two ways. When they set it up and they put you into a small group room, it will say you have been assigned to breakout group room number whatever. And I wonder if you can change the words. Maybe we can change it to those colors, but you've been assigned to this breakout room. Do you want to go now, or do you want to stay in the main room? It depends on when they create the breakout rooms. So Kathy typically makes it right before we break out. So when that pop-up appears, you say, go to breakout room. And basically then you teleport from the big group into your small breakout room, your small group practice room. If they make it at the beginning of the day and you've got a lecture or two, it's just sitting there. So down at the bottom of the screen, in between recording and reactions, I believe, will be 4 squares in a large, 4 little squares that'll say breakout rooms. That is where you can click the button to go into your breakout room at any time that they're open. We often keep them closed until it's time to go in there because we don't want people accidentally getting in a breakout room and missing a lecture or something like that. When you are in a breakout room, the main room is still open. And that's where Kathy or Peter will be. Just like when you leave the main room, Kathy or Peter would be at the registration desk. So if you need anything, you can leave your breakout room. And when you click leave at the bottom corner, the bottom right-hand corner, it'll say leave breakout room or leave meeting. So you either leave breakout room and you stay in the meeting and you just go to that big group room again, where Kathy or Peter is, or you leave meeting altogether, right? You just shut it all down. If you shut it all down, you can obviously come right back in, and you'll go back into the big group room. If you have an issue where a participant is having a significant experience that requires one-on-one attention, this is where the on-call person comes in. You tell the rest of the group, hey, Linda and I are going to leave the room. We're going to go to our own breakout room, and someone will be in here in just a few minutes. You guys hang out here for just a second. And then you go to your big breakout room. Kathy or Peter will be there. They will put you and that one other person into a breakout room. They will call the 911 on-call person, and that person will jump into the big group room, and Kathy will assign them to the small practice group room. Okay, that's probably going to take about 5 minutes. But in person, it would take about the same amount of time to leave the room, find a faculty member, do all of those things. So It's as close to the same solution that we would have in person. If you have any other ideas, let us know after this process, and we would love to hear some feedback because we're still evolving here. Once you are in your breakout room, you aren't able to use the chat function to talk to anyone except those in your breakout room. And I believe, Kathy, I believe you can always message the host. But you cannot message anyone outside of your small breakout room and Kathy, which is why we set up the group me texting, or just that group chat, which I think apparently works, even though I'm using my email. I don't understand, whatever. So that's why it's really helpful to just go into the big room, tell Kathy that you need someone to, to step in, and she'll take care of it, or Peter. When you're in your breakout rooms, you cannot then further break out. So that's why anytime you need a new breakout room, you go back into the big group, and then Kathy will create a breakout room for you, or Peter. Breakout rooms are a little bit time consuming. And so I will do my best to remind Kathy and Peter to at least start making breakout rooms towards the end, but not at the very end of a lecture, just so that we're not wasting about 5 minutes or so trying to get into the lectures or into the small breakout rooms. Time management is key. We're sitting here, faculty members are sitting here all day. We're staring at screens. I should probably have my blue light glasses on, but I'm just so fatigued. I didn't even think about them. So we really want to make sure that the 15-minute breaks are really 15 minutes. The 5-minute breaks are really 5 minutes, that we are starting on time and ending on time, even more so than when we're in person, because we really want to be cognizant of the fact that we're just sitting here staring at a screen for 6 to 7 hours a day, some of us, and the participants are for sure. And so what that means is if you run late on your small group, and I mentioned this before, if you run late into your small group, into the break, if your small group runs late, that's eating up their break time. The break will not then extend and the lectures extend, because we are already pushing this so long to accommodate as many breaks as possible. So it's important to keep that time management in mind. And if somebody has a really great question, but it's 1 minute before it's over, let everybody know, hey, we've got 1 minute. Go ahead and take your break. If just one person wants to chat, you can volunteer to give up some of your break as well. But also please take care of yourself and stand up and move around and, grab, a nice water or something. Take care of yourself. Okay. One last document I'm going to go over, and then tomorrow during the faculty meeting, I will hopefully talk more about breakout rooms, answer any questions that you may have. So this, I need to share my screen. There we go. So this right here is, you can see that there are 4 tabs. This only applies to Linda, Lane, and myself, or if something happens and we need to ask someone else to jump in, or if you happen to do another virtual workshop, this will apply to you as well in the future. So each person is having 8 to 10 people, I believe, in their groups. And so you have the person's name, their contact information, and then I have already pre-filled in what the training dates are, when the date of the call is, and that it was just a general check-in call. It's supposed to be a drop-down box, but it was not. Anyway, whoops. Where are we going here? Okay, so just putting in what time you called, and then what their level of alertness was. And then if there's anything in particular that is, interesting to note that they thought was important for faculty to know, then you send it to me, whether it's a screenshot or the actual file, and I will spend time taking all of this information, putting it back into one file and then resending it out to everyone, so that we all have it in one place. My hope and my goal is that Ash moves to having a Dropbox or has Google Files and Google Drives, because when you are editing in that capacity, it's automatic and it's all there. And so that's my hope. We're just not there yet. Maybe for the December workshop. Hint, hint, Linda, I will help you. So I think that's everything. And I'm hopefully going to get these two things. Oops, that doesn't need to be read. That was a bad number, and then we got it. So I will hopefully have these numbers filled out by tomorrow, and have all of that taken care of. So I really hope that answers your questions. The main thing for breakout rooms is it's really just leaving the primary lecture hall and being zoomed into your small conference room. And what we're doing is we are able to do it a lot faster than walking down the hall. And so we're able to make sure that we get that full 90 minutes or 105 minutes or however long each session is. Faculty will always rotate. Participants stay in the same group so they get to know each other. I think that's everything. I think that's how the breakout rooms work. If you are in level 1 or level 2 and you're doing a group practice, you can either have the group practice where you have one person volunteer and they practice with another participant, and then everybody kind of rotates and you just keep it in the main group room. You can also have people break up into smaller groups and ask Kathy or Peter to break you up into, or break up the participants into smaller breakout rooms. The only thing with that is, just like if you were, or unlike if you were in a conference room, if everybody goes into a different corner of the conference room, you can walk around and be there. If everyone goes to a breakout room and there's only 2 faculty members and you have, 10 people breaking out into groups of 2, you now have five breakout rooms, and you only have 2 faculty members and a staff member. So you may have a couple of rooms that don't have a staff member. So that's up to you on how you're going to decide to do that. That is not what I would advise. I wouldn't advise having people practice without a faculty member present, just because they're going to have a lot of questions. And then you also can't be there to monitor for reactions, or someone attempting to become a faculty member themselves and teaching things that are not aligned with ASH standards. So it would be advisable to break out into maximum of 2 groups, unless another small group, unless another faculty member happens to just be there. You could also break into 3 if you talk with the SFA member, and if you're really just having somebody there to monitor, but not necessarily be a clinical support. So that is a big downside of the virtual, in terms of just not having the ability to just pair off in the way that we would in person. So I think that's everything. Hopefully this isn't more than 2 videos, because YouTube only lets me upload 15 minutes at a time, because I'm not a verified account, I do not believe. So thank you very much. I know that this is long and it is not as entertaining as previous videos. I'm tired and I just wanted to get this information out to you. And I will see everyone, let me verify, everyone who is coming to the faculty meeting in the morning, everyone who is teaching tomorrow, I will see you. Faculty meeting is at 10:30 in the morning Eastern time. And I will go over more about breakout rooms. I will go more into some of the tech questions that people have, and answer any questions about this video. We're going to jump right in and get, real down and dirty in terms of the details. make sure that everything is where it needs to be. So thank you very much, guys. Have a great evening.